What up, Raider Nation? I'm Mike.
I'm Will.
And welcome to Raider Radio.
So we're back at it for, I mean, is this technically like our 6th year of doing this, even though it's not all, in one shot?
Honestly, I'm not counting. I just know that we are like two battered spouses that just keep coming back time after time after getting beat down. But, you don't know the Raiders like we know the Raiders.
Yeah, and that's why you're tuning in to hear what we have to say, so you can know the Raiders like we know the Raiders.
Yeah, it's the same relationship. That's what we're really trying to foster here. Just like a battered spouse support network. I don't know if there's much difference between being Raider fans and that. So.
What, being thrown down the stairs and...
Yeah, I'm already making complete thoughts here, so we're off to a good start.
Yeah, no, you're not doing that bad. But for those of us for those of you listening that aren't familiar with us, I think a good jumping off point would maybe be to tune into our most recent video breakdown of Brock Bowers, our first round rookie. Kind of show a little bit of the type of content we like to provide Raider fans, which is not necessarily heavy on the Kool-Aid, but a nuanced take that is steeped in some type of football.
Sure, because a lot of football talk is just drowning in Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and I think the biggest reason why we started this podcast so many years ago, and the reason why we keep coming back to it, is because when you're losing every single year, it starts to get tiresome, and you start tuning out a little bit when every single year people come behind the mic like we're doing right now and wax poetic and blow air up the Raiders' ass like we're actually going to win a Super Bowl.
It gives us purpose in life when we don't have any purpose outside of this. So,
But that's just a tiny disclaimer. Because what we're going to do, we're going to kick this off by kind of analyzing the first official depth chart that the Raiders released and kind of, I guess, give our general thoughts and opinions on the, just what our prospects are for this year.
I'm going to be Abraham Lincoln and call it the State of the Union right now.
The State of the Union.
The State of the Union, the address, yeah.
You're going to be Abraham Lincoln, kill more Americans than any other president in history.
That's a different podcast, dude.
Trying to piss off everybody before we even start talking about football.
You're off to an incredible start. So, all right, let's talk about. So this is entering week 1 against the Chargers, but we just had the final roster a couple weeks ago. So let's go through that and talk about. Let's talk about the offense first.
Okay, so I'm going to just do a quick readout of some of the key points that I'm seeing on the depth chart, and then maybe you could tell me what your thoughts are.
You do what you want to do. You're the driver. I'm just here in the passenger seat giving you roadhead, trying to keep up. So
we're in agreement then. Okay, so starting quarterback, Gardner Minshew.
Fine.
He beat out Aiden O'Connell, which I guess beat out is kind of like a...
Oh, beat out is that's an exaggeration.
It's a stretch.
I think that's probably the most popular story of the offseason as well, too, right? Because, quarterback is the offense. Do you want a good offense, you got to have a good quarterback. So we're probably going to spend most of our time talking about that.
At running back, we have Zamir White, I guess retaining his late season starting role after Josh Jacobs got injured.
With Alexander Madison backing him up.
Yep. The third down back that backed up Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, from the Vikings. From the Vikings, yeah.
Amir Abdullah is still sticking around. I don't understand how or why.
Abdullah. Yeah.
And then we've got Dylan Labe, the rookie.
Who perhaps an exciting sleeper option, not in fantasy, but I'm saying in real life. Perhaps an exciting sleeper option for the Raiders that could be a contributor of some sort.
Yeah, and the low hanging fruit is there with like comparisons to like Austin Eckler, because that was one of Telesco's key under the radar signings or draft picks. I think was he undrafted, Eckler? I think he may have been undrafted.
Shit, dude, I don't remember. But yeah, there's obvious parallels to draw there.
Yeah, and they have a similar skill set. And you hear the same thing like, Dylan Laube can run between the tackles.
Is it Laube or Laub?
I think it's Laube.
Okay.
Like a lob A. Like a lob pass A at the end of it.
Sure.
Lob A.
Well, people are always throwing lob passes to me, so.
But you basically hear with him that for a small guy, he's actually pretty talented at running between the tackles.
Yeah,
so he might have a little bit of that.
And a
Eckler
good pass catcher out of the backfield.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So early on, he'll probably be a third down back, rotating with Madison.
Sure.
And then at the receiver, Adams at one starting spot. That's no surprise. The other starting spot, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker behind them, DJ Turner, and then we got a couple of young guys too.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Yeah, Keaton and McAllister.
Yeah.
And then on the line, we have Colton Miller, Cody Whitehair, Andre James, Dylan Parham, and Thayer Munford.
Well, Cody Whitehair, too, is only in there because Jackson Powers-Johnson, the second-round rookie, is concussed.
I think he's been concussed.
I believe he's questionable for week 1, right?
Yeah,
he hasn't gotten many snaps in training camp at all.
No, and it may be one of those things where they ease him along, and he'll be the starter 4 weeks from now. But yeah, I expect JPJ to actually be in the starting lineup at some point. So overall, the full body of work, the offensive line. What's your take on the situation?
If you want me to give it like a letter grade, I'm gonna give it a C- on the overall situation, because in reality we've got Colton Miller, our left tackle, who's the only above average starter on the line, I'd say. You got Andre James, who is in my mind a below average center, who's kind of just there by default. Because he's gotten a couple of years now in this offense, but Parham and Munford, two young guys that haven't blown anyone's hair back yet.
So it sounds like your main concern is going to be offensive line and the depth there.
Yeah, if you want my general thoughts on the offense, if we're going there, the line is bad. I don't think it's a good line. I think it's a bad line and a bad quarterback and decent weapons. I actually think our receiving options right now aren't bad.
And we did fail to mention Bowers and and Mayers, who are both listed as starters. The depth chart was released in 12 personnel, so a double tight end package.
Yeah, and they are probably going to be using it. That package quite often.
Yeah, I mean Luke Getsy used it as much as any coordinator.
I mean, that's where my head is going to. I can't be optimistic about this offense as long as Getsy's in charge of it. Also, again, a bad line, not a good quarterback situation. So what is the use of weapons then? You know what I mean? It's it's fool's gold. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm legit excited about Bowers. I drafted him in 2 of my fantasy leagues this year. I believe in him just because he's going to be able to, line up everywhere across the field. Mm-hmm. Even fucking fullback if they want him to, right? Because he can line up in slot, receiver, jet sweeps. He could even probably be a fullback and block. But having weapons doesn't mean anything if you don't have anyone to throw it to. And Minshew is going to keep us in games. I saw a really cool quote reading The Athletic about how some scout or some executive said he's going to keep you he's going to help the offense stay in the games, but he's also going to help the opposing defense stay in games. And I thought that was just a really cool way of putting it, because he's going to have plays where he makes 40-yard touchdown passes and he runs outside the pocket, keeps plays alive, but he's also going to have boneheaded interceptions. Mm. So I'm expecting a lot of close games with the Raiders this season, especially given our defense. But, generally bad offensive coordinator, bad line, and bad quarterback is not going to get you anywhere. Mm.
I have a little bit of a hot take on this. Mm-hmm. And It's not any better than your take. If anything, it might be worse. You graded the offense overall at a C. I think that this is probably a bottom 5 offense on paper. We were pretty much bottom 10 last year, and if you look at the teams that ended up being worse than us, and viewing the way their off-season trajectory went, you have to ask yourself, like, where do we land in the current NFL landscape of 2024? And of course, there's a lot of unknowns, and on paper, things don't always end up the way that you think that they might. But I'm just going to do a quick rundown of some of the worst offenses in the league last year. The worst of which was Carolina. I'm not a big fan of Bryce Young. I do think that they got a lot better this year, but I'm still not really confident in the trajectory of where the organization overall is going. The next worst team in the league was New England, and I don't think that that's going to change at all. They have a new coach, new system, Jacoby Brissett, who is a fine veteran quarterback, but he's not going to really push the points per game that you need in order to, kind of even get into that middle spot of the league, like the 24 to 27 points per game. And then there was the Giants. I mean, the Giants are going to be worse. They might be the actual worst offense in the league this year.
Yeah, those are all trash offenses. Yeah.
But then you start going to teams that actually are improving this offseason, which is the Jets. Assuming that Rodgers comes back healthy, they're not going to be a bottom 5 offense this year. And then from there, you've got the Titans. I think that they're still going to be bad. Commanders, I think, are going to be better. I think that the Commanders have talent on that team, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
If Jaden Daniels is good, then you're.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got at least a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I guess the way I view it is we were a bottom 10 offense last year. Roughly 3 to 5 teams in that range got better, and I'm not really convinced our offense got better at all. Gardner Minshew, I think that a lot of Raider fans can admit that he will be a marginal upgrade, if not a lateral move. I think that the one thing that Raider fans don't want to acknowledge is that we did lose Josh Jacobs, and I think that the overall running back group that we have, so Zamir White, Madison, and Labe, and Abdullah, I think that they could probably form a committee to replicate Josh Jacobs' production, but I don't think that they can replicate his impact on the game. And so basically Jacobs can win us a game with a couple of plays, making things happen out of nothing. And Zamir White is not going to do that. He's not going to bust out these tackles for long runs or just basically play above their level. Jacobs was a special talent, and we lost that. So in my mind, the offense is taking a step back. We have a new coordinator. Bo Hart agrees a really low bar, but still establishing a new system takes time. Even if you're optimistic about Getsy, which neither of us are really, because look at the Bears. What happened with the Bears. But even if you're optimistic about Getsy, it's going to take time for him to install the offense and get people, on the same page. And on paper, talent-wise, we just did not get that much better.
No, I agree with you. You talk about Jacobs, and that was last season, right? Where he busted off that 70-yard touchdown run against the Seahawks in overtime. So last year, was that 2 years ago? I forget off the top of my head. But there is that playmaking ability that the team lacks all of a sudden, and that absolutely makes a difference in the way that defensive coordinators and defenses will approach us. You don't need to respect the run the way you did when Jacobs was on the team. And
Jacobs was doing. I mean, he in his time since coming into the league, he's led the league in yards after contact.
Yes.
You know, anybody who comes at me with PFF gradings about our offensive line, just fade me with that, because I think PFF ratings are fucking stupid, and I don't believe that our offensive line has been that good at all.
No,
recently.
The offensive line is bad, and I don't care how buff Zamir White looks in his Instagram posts. He's not Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, but Jacobs did do things for that line to make them look good.
Yes.
Just because we had a good rushing attack since Josh Jacobs has been here does not mean that we have been a competent team in the trenches.
Sure, and if you want to look at the opposite side of the coin, then Gardner Minshew might bail the line out more this year than Aiden O'Connell did. You know what I mean? So, but you know, football's a team game. So you really have to just watch it to know. You know what I mean? Because I feel like some with football more so than maybe any other sport, the eye test is more accurate, because it's some numbers in box stats and PFF scores are really misleading. Like our line can look good with numbers when they're really not, because it's quarterbacks making plays or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
or Devontae making crazy catches.
Yeah, or some retard at PFF looking at Andre James being pushed back onto his ass, but taking the defensive lineman with him and saying, "Oh, that's a positive snap for Andre James." And Josh Jacobs ran for 10 yards.
It could be a missed holding call, or it could be bad technique. The bad technique does not show in the PFF scores. Yeah.
But we've been manufacturing a rushing attack, in my opinion, with smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors, good play calling, and then Josh Jacobs being the best yards after contact running back in the league.
And we're gonna see his absence this year. There's no way we're not gonna not see that.
And so that's really it. Like I think that like Jacobs only got, I think, like 800 yards last year. I could totally see, because of the injuries and the missed games, but I could totally see like Zamir White playing the full year and getting like 600 to 700 yards. Alexander Madison gets maybe another 200 to 300.
I think it's very realistic.
And then maybe you get like 100 to 200 receiving yards from Dylan Labe, and it's like you kind of the box score ends up looking similar to Josh Jacobs, but the real impact on the game is not going to be there. And then you're putting a lot of pressure on Gardner Minshew to deliver the ball to 31 going on 32-year-old Devontae Adams. I just don't really see it. So
yeah, I think that's very realistic. Yeah.
So for me, like the offense is bottom 5 in the league probably. And to flip it to the other side of the ball, I think that the reason for optimism, or the reason for hope this year, is going to be the defensive side of the ball, which is kind of a foreign concept for us. I don't think we've had a remotely good defense since 2002.
A long time, dude. Yeah, it's been like 20 years. Without exaggeration.
So, but I guess, is it as good as we think it could be? Are we just kind of
drinking
is
the Kool-Aid?
Is this the Kool-Aid part? Because I know we said we don't like to drink the Kool-Aid here, and I know I put a wet towel on everybody's hopes with the offense talk.
If there's reason to be optimistic, though, it comes from the defense. Mm-hmm. You got was 30 under Patrick Graham. You've got potentially defensive player of the year with Max Crosby, and I guess that's my hot take, where I think he has the ability to be defensive player of the year. It just, the team doesn't get enough attention in the media.
I think he may very well have been the defensive MVP last year if he wasn't injured.
I mean, that
because he still played.
Well, that's the part where I'm happy to drink the Kool-Aid on. I love Max Crosby. He's the leader of my favorite team. He has the charisma. He has the skills. He has the motor. The motor is the underappreciated value of him, because no other player like him has that in the league. No one works as hard as he does. I don't care. But you have guys like Spillane and Divine Diablo going in, another year of experience under their belt in this system. Jack Jones, a full season at cornerback, and then you got even Morig and Epps. Everyone is getting more more experience, more comfortable in the system. So I think
they don't have to come. They don't have to come into this year with uncertainty about what they need to do.
There's a lot of
they just need to play loose, fast, exactly. and make plays.
Nate Hobbs is back. There's a lot of continuity on the defense. I guess there's I don't think there's a lot of if you want to talk like what scares me. There's not a lot of depth. You've got guys like Ja'Cory Bennett who need to step up. I mean, are we going to see anything out of Tyree Wilson ever? Like that shit scares me. The depth, and I'm not saying it's like a perfect, not like an amazing record-breaking defense. It still has its weaknesses, and I think to be successful, we need to see our key guys stay healthy. But I'm excited to see Christian Wilkins. Obviously, he's a huge boost on the line. Kuntz, another year with Kuntz. I'm excited to see Kuntz still progress, and for him to get a fat fucking paycheck. I doubt that's also what scares me. If he does well, we're not going to pay him. I feel like we're not going to pay him after the season because he's going to probably be out of our pay range. But
I think it depends on whether Patrick Graham stays or not. I think that you could see guys like that, pass rushers, especially Kuntz, who's a little bit of a tweener.
Yeah,
maybe stick with Graham because he's kind of buttering his bread a little bit. He's the reason for his success. Kuntz had 8 sacks last year, and was it 8? Maybe 7 or 8, but I think it was 8. And nearly all of them came after Josh McDaniels got fired.
Yeah, when the coordinators had more control, right, over the play calling, probably.
Yeah, and
from what we can tell,
immediately Pierce was like, "Yeah, Kuntz is going to be a big guy for us."
Yeah, and he was. Yeah,
and that has more to do with Josh McDaniels being a douchebag than anything.
Yeah.
But so the reason for the optimism that we're not blowing air up our ass about this defense, I would say a bigger sample size of Kuntz is something to be optimistic about. I mean, the addition of Christian Wilkins, it's kind of flying under the radar because everybody wants to talk about like the QB battle and everything. But I mean, it's probably the single biggest addition that we made this offseason.
It is. Yeah.
And I think that it will pay off dividends. I think that this defensive line is honestly insane to me. Like even the depth of it is insane to me. So you were wondering.
It's the best part of the team for sure. Yeah.
You were wondering, is Tyree Wilson going to do anything? I'm like, well, I mean, Tyree Wilson's a backup now, and it sucks that we spent a 4th overall pick on him, but he's a physical freak of nature. It sucks that we spent the 4th overall pick on him, but the dude's still a physical freak of nature. In my opinion, he's more of a multiple player who is best lining up in hybrid packages that Patrick Graham's known for. So when he was kind of pigeonholed into playing on the edge last year early on when Malcolm Kuntz was in the doghouse, I thought that was playing him out of position a little bit. He almost reminds me of like Vernon Golston back on the 49ers when they spent like a top 10 pick for him and then asked him to be a pass rusher, like a pure pass rusher. That's not what Wilson's skill set really is. We start shifting him inside where, rushing with your, over a guard or a center, you have way less space to get to the quarterback than out on the edge. And I think that it helps his skill set because he's not the quickest off the line. He doesn't have that quick burst of speed, but he's powerful. So I think that Kuntz's emergence is it's allowing Patrick Graham to use Tyree Wilson creatively. John Jenkins is a nose tackle. He's only going to be on the field for like 20 to 30% of the snaps. So we're going to need another big body to put in there, and I think that Wilson is that guy. And then just the one player that I want to point out on the defensive line, especially that I think is flying under the radar, is Janarius Robinson. He had a little bit of a controversy in the offseason. I forget what it was. It was like a DUI that wasn't actually a DUI or something like that. But and I was really upset about it because he started really flashing for me towards the end of last season we would bring him in 5 defensive lineman packages as like the extra pass rusher, like the NASCAR package that Graham did back in New York with like Benson Mayowa and stuff like that. And so like I think that he's going to be great. I think Janarius Robinson might end up with like 4 or 5 sacks this year out of nowhere. So the depth, the talent up and down the defensive line is just awesome to me. I think that we will be a top 10 defense this year to kind of balance out my weak take or my less than optimistic take on the offense. But it's a work in progress. Also, we just signed Darnay Holmes, who had some success with Graham in I don't know. I think that was in New England. He played with Graham. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Graham can do on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I think Janarius Robinson's a very interesting player to point out, and I do think the defensive line is the best group of our entire team, besides special teams with Carlson and what's his face, this punter, AJ Cole. Yeah.
And it's clear that it is the best defensive line in the AFC West.
I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think that's debatable.
Yeah. But so, taking the offense and defense, putting it together, I guess.
Can I get a final grade for the defense from me?
From me? Well, I gave it to you because I didn't do a letter grade because I'm not an imbecile like you.
I
did bottom 5 for the offense, top 10 for the defense.
I can't think like that. I'm gonna give a B+ for the defense.
I'll give an A.
Wow. Okay.
And the offense, I would give a failing grade. Bottom 5 offense in the league is an F.
Wow. Okay. Shit.
Yeah.
I
so
feel
A
like
and F. That polar opposites.
Those are extreme marks. Yeah.
I think that we have a very polarizing roster. There's something to be said. I mean, I'm excited about the defensive line, but we went out. It was already a strength of the team. We went out. We signed Christian Wilkins, and then what? Yeah, what did you do on the offensive side of the ball? You signed Alexander Madison.
Well, you got Brock Bowers. That's the biggest acquisition.
It's a rookie tight end.
I agree.
And again, watch our Brock Bowers video because it's good. But also, I think that he's a Hall of Fame talent. I think he's the best tight end in college football history. I'm excited about Brock Bowers. He's a rookie tight end. You have to temper your expectations.
Well, you didn't do anything to support him on the offensive line of the quarterback situation. Until the quarterback situation is resolved, there's nothing to be excited about on offense.
Yeah, and what would lead you to believe that Brock Bowers is going to outperform Sam Laporta, who had one of the best rookie years for a tight end in recent history, with Gardner Minshew throwing him the ball?
Yeah.
And Detroit has one of the better offensive lines in the NFC.
Relatively, what do you expect?
So for me, analyzing the roster, what are my realistic expectations for the 2024 Raiders?
Yeah, let's talk about your expected record. Like, what's your projections?
Yeah, like right now, Vegas has the over/under at 6.5 wins, and
I think that's a little low, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think in the past couple of years they've consistently undersold us, and we've hit the over most of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of spot on. I think that we're not that much better of a team than we were last year, but the reason why we might not match our record is because we have a tough schedule. Well, it's not an easy schedule.
I think we actually have, against the top-rated quarterbacks, I think we have the first or second worst schedule in the league. I would put
playing Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes twice.
Yeah,
those are three of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah,
1 through 3.
We've got a tough schedule. But, what are you going to do about that? I would put our final record, like what I expect this season, to be about like an 8-9. I don't think we got any better than last year's record, but I don't know if you were like inferring this, but like the places where we got better and worse kind of like fluctuated. So it's like, but it all kind of equals out to me where it's like the same ballpark of the record, but 8-9 is kind of where I expect us to finish, like a little less than 500, whatever, 7-10 or 9-8. But in that ballpark, even though we did get better and worse at some spots, I think it all kind of balances out. But
and everybody's improving every year.
yeah,
So-
I
so-
mean, the Chiefs are still the Super Bowl contenders. If Bo Nix is for real, maybe the Broncos. Will's barking again. Maybe the Broncos got better. And who knows what's going to happen with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, which I guess brings us on to the second half.
You didn't even let me say what my
No
record
no
is.
one cares what we.
I'm taking the under 6-11.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess we could jump into the Week 1 matchup against the San Diego Chargers. They're not the Los Angeles Chargers. That's our market.
Yeah.
I don't care that Jerry Jones has a fucking beef against the legacy of Al Davis and the Raiders' legacy and suing the league to get to Los Angeles.
No, the Chargers don't have any real fans.
But yeah, like the Chargers never should have been brought to Los Angeles. We should have gone there.
Dude, what a vanilla brand in general of like in all sports. And I'm a fan of like all the 5 major sports. Tennis, beer pong,
The 5 majors.
mini golf, football. But no, it's a very vanilla brand. The Chargers don't do anything well. They don't have character. They don't have personality. It's just like and they're besides the LaDainian Tomlinson years, like they're just kind of even the LaDainian Tomlinson years. They're characterized by disappointment or missed potential. You know what I mean? Not good branding. Their logo isn't great. I don't know. It's just.
I mean, I think that their branding is decent for. I think it's decent for what it is.
I'm not a fan. The powder blue doesn't do anything for me.
I mean, when your jerseys are silver and black, yeah, it looks kind of bad. But I think that for a non-Raider jersey, because most of the non-Raider jerseys are gay, I would say that it's an okay jersey for an old AFL jersey. But to your point about them not having an identity, I think that this could be the beginning of that, process of turning that around.
Sure,
with Jim Harbaugh. And
it's a good first step.
Yeah, and I think most fans are no stranger to Jim Harbaugh and his body of work and his success. I think that a lot of people, Jim Harbaugh strikes me as like that type of guy that you love to hate him, or like you hate him when he's on another team, but you love him when he's on your team.
I have some insider knowledge to hit you with. I recently just watched the Netflix documentary Sign Stealer.
Yeah.
All of Michigan's success is basically because of a USA Marine code breaker. That's basically what it boils down to. So
Yeah, basically.
yeah,
Basically.
yeah. All of Jim Harbaugh's like previous NFL success means nothing.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna call bullshit on that, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I wanted Jim Harbaugh. I did not want Antonio Pierce.
Oh, same.
And I guess it's a good spot to
Like a real,
ask the
like
question.
a real coach, like someone who's like
Experience
is good
of any
at this.
kind.
Yeah.
A resume to speak.
Like
some kind of resume.
an actual resume. Yeah.
But I guess it's a good spot to ask the question. Is Harbaugh's success with the Chargers going to be the measuring stick for Antonio Pierce? I don't know if we were even in the running for Harbaugh. I don't even know if we were interested, and I think that's more the case, that we weren't
I
interested
don't
at
think
all.
they didn't make an actual offer.
Because I feel in my bones that he would have taken the Raiders' job if he was offered it.
I don't know. He would have considered it. That I can say. But would he have taken it? I'm not sure. At least in L.A. or San Diego, whatever you want to call it, like he has a quarterback, and he's got some pieces, at least on defense. I know, like the Chargers went through like a fire sale on offense.
But he didn't have a quarterback when he took over for Singletary. He had an elite defense, and that's what we have. He's a quarterback whisperer. The way Jim Harbaugh earns his paycheck is that he teaches people how to play the pro game of quarterback. and develops them and gives them good habits, basically. And also has them play within their capabilities. So, taking a guy like Alex Smith, who had to be the first overall pick, hero of the organization, and making him look like a good quarterback simply by not asking him to be that guy. Same thing with Colin Kaepernick, and I think that he would have been amazing for us, especially with our quarterback situation. I think that he would have been able to coach these guys up far better than Luke Getsy could.
Oh, dude,
in terms of like a bridge situation.
I would have thrown money at Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, because you add a legitimacy to your organization. Honestly, something like the Chargers were lacking, because Brandon Staley made terrible decisions, and he just continued that. It's a branding thing, of just like we're a laughing stock, but Harbaugh changes that, and I think it was an incredible direction for that organization, and I would have done the same thing.
But yeah, so this is going to be. I like that this game's week 1, because of this, because the context of this.
Well, if there's a time for us to be better than them too, like our rosters, I think are like.
I mean, we just spanked them 60 points to something.
And then we hired their GM. Yeah. The guy who engineered that roster.
Yeah, it is this is such a telling game, because the last time we played them, we basically ended their the current regime.
Sure. I honestly think on paper we're better than them. I'm saying this now, but I think we are better than them on paper right now. In 2 years, I don't know. I think they're on a better trajectory than us. But right now, I think our roster is better on paper. So I do expect to actually beat the Chargers in week 1.
Okay. Well, do you have a score prediction?
You want me to hit you with the final score? I'm going to say 27-24.
27-24 Raiders?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think my prediction's not as optimistic. I think the Chargers are going to beat us. I think it's going to be 23-13, San Diego. And I think what it comes down to is they've got blue chip talent up and down the offensive line. Greg Roman is a rushing.
Who's there to catch the ball though?
They've got some, they've got young guys and experienced guys. Lad McConkey. I like him as a prospect.
What a dumb name, Lad McConkey. No, I'm not trusting the ball.
I think he's white too, but as a receiver,
you're not helping your case, dude.
Maybe he's not. I thought he was a wide receiver, white wide receiver.
White receiver.
But I think that their offensive line is really good. I think that one of the key matchups is going to be the rookie out of Notre Dame, Joe Alt. Kind of going up against Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Like
a hell of a inaugural NFL game.
Yeah. Welcome to the NFL.
But I mean, again, also our offensive line against their defensive line. You got Mac and Bosa coming off there against our fucking lackluster. I don't like that's.
But my point is that the game's going to be decided by who can run the ball better. I don't think that. I think that if we're lucky, Minshew will throw 1 touchdown pass. I don't think he'll throw 2.
It'd be a lot of running. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Zamir White's gonna get the shit run out of him. Yeah.
And so, if you're asking me who is going to win that type of ball control game, I think that the Chargers' run attack is going to be better than ours. Our rush defense has not looked good in the preseason, though. It's the preseason, so who knows? But and sure, they don't have anybody to throw the ball to, but the difference in caliber between Justin Herbert and Gardner Minshew is
stark. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. So I kind of it's hard for me to envision us winning this game. Other than the one thing that I'm telling myself, because obviously I'm trying to be impartial for the podcast and create a compelling point. But after we log off and the closer we get to Sunday, I'm going to convince myself.
When you go cry in your bed at night.
No, I'm gonna convince myself of otherwise, and I'm gonna get myself hyped up for the game. Hopefully we can hang our hat on. It's a new coaching tree for the Chargers. They're establishing a new offense, growing pains. Herbert did have that. What was it, a Liz Frank injury or some type of foot injury?
Yeah. He's not 100%, or he might not be.
Yeah.
And that coupled with, I think,
might help us sack him a couple of times rather than
him. Yeah, and again, you don't have Mike Williams on Keenan Allen, you have Eckler, all these players that he's been practicing with for years and he's familiar with. You don't have that anymore. Yeah. So that could play into it. For our sake as Raider fans, I hope it does. And just, fuck the Chargers. We just seem to outmaneuver them. Even when they're better than us. So I'm just going to trust in the the universe.
My score prediction of 23-13 with us scoring 13 points, it really comes down to what do I think Gardner Minshew's stat line is going to be. I think that it'll probably
150
be
yards,
150 to 200 yards, one touchdown.
They're going to run a lot.
And I think that it'll be close for a while. I think Daniel Carlson's going to do a lot of work. That's why it's like 13 points. That means we throw the ball once for one touchdown, and then the offense stalls twice.
I can see Gardner throwing for 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 Zamir White touchdown, and then two.
That's very optimistic.
Then 2 Carlson.
You think we're going to score 3 touchdowns? We struggled to score over 19 points most weeks last year.
Well, this is a new era.
I know. I hope so. And I'm fine if you're optimistic about it. But that's. I'm just trying to tell you where my mind is at. Is that I'm just looking at where we were. Can't crack 20 points regularly. Offense didn't get better. I think we lose this one, and I think it probably will set the tone for the year for
actually. I think the opposite. I think we're gonna actually get up to a hot start and then cool down as the year goes on.
Okay. Well, I don't pontificate on that,
so
Mike.
When we
so week 2, we're playing what the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore.
Well, that game's not gonna go well.
Hot start, right?
When I see you here at this table in a week, probably less optimistic. Especially after I'm proven wrong. But we got Carolina in week 3, Cleveland in week 4, and Denver week 5. Dude, that we could be 4-1.
What?
That's not crazy to think. Come on.
That's crazy, especially when you consider that it's only 4 games, not 5. 4-1, you fucking idiot.
5-1. Go fuck yourself. Whatever.
But I'm just like these numbers aren't adding up for me. But
I'm a math guy. I trust.
You know what? I'm just gonna open up another one of these.
Your high noons.
These hard seltzers.
You've gotten so.
And then maybe your math will make sense to me.
You've gotten so much harder in these last couple of years. Look, you're pouring seltzers.
Time is undefeated, Mike. I don't know what to fucking tell you. But.
As the Raiders will be in the first 4 weeks.
We're 1-3 in the first month, bro.
Dude, I think you're fucking crazy. I think you're crazy.
I think that there's...
You're wrong. I think you're just flat out wrong.
There's absolutely
no
fucking way we are beating the Ravens going east.
Sure. Well, I can see
and the Browns who won... 10, 11 games last year?
Come on. No. The Browns is a toss-up game.
What?
We can beat the Chargers. Ravens is a loss.
The Browns are a toss-up game?
Shut up. The Chargers, we can beat them. Ravens is a loss. We can beat... Obviously, we're going to win in Carolina.
Is Chubb
Browns
out? Is Chubb out for the
game,
year?
and then Chubb is out. Oh, no, I don't know about for the year, but he's out. He's definitely going to be there week 4. And then Denver, we can win. And even fucking Pittsburgh. We've beaten Russ twice last year. That's 5-1. We're 5-1 to start the season.
You're sounding like fucking some of these other podcasters that make me want to record because this is horrible.
Just taste the fucking Kool-Aid, dude. It's sweet. It tastes so good.
Listen, man.
Baltimore's the only obvious loss in the first 5 weeks of the season.
I don't understand your point on the Browns,
Perhaps
man.
6.
I really don't understand your point on the Browns at all.
Browns it's a tough game, but it's a toss-up. We can beat them. That's a coin flip to me.
I don't see us beating them. I really fucking don't, dude. I mean, their offensive line's better than us, and their defense is a top 5 defense. They've got good coaching.
I feel like the Browns is just a very winnable game.
They're all winnable, man. I just.
Well, that's not true.
I mean, if you're going to argue that it's a winnable game, and then say that they're not all winnable, then I completely fucking disagree with your premise that we're going to beat the Browns. But if you want to concede to me that it's any given Sunday and the ball can bounce any fucking way, then sure we can beat the Browns.
They're all winnable, but they're not all losable.
The Browns have a better roster than us, top to bottom.
Are we talking about the fucking Browns? Or are we talking about the Chargers right now?
At every single fucking position.
Go back to the Chargers.
How many games did the Browns win last year, Mike?
I don't fucking know.
Like fucking 4 or 5 more than us.
Let me check back on my records of my
Didn't they win like 11 or 12 fucking games last year?
No. Maybe Deshaun Watson got 12 massages last year. I don't know about games they won. You're just looking it up right now.
I'm gonna look it up right now because I just feel.
How long does it take you to Google something?
You're like this fair weather fucking fan that.
Damn, we actually do have a really hard schedule.
Like if
Rams, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Miami, Kansas City, Tampa, Atlanta. Damn, this schedule sucks, dude. Who fucking gave us a schedule? What is wrong with you people at the NFL?
I don't even know why.
Have some fucking sympathy for
dude, they were 11-6 last year. They had one of the lowest points against in the entire fucking league.
We can beat them. Sorry, I believe and you don't. All right.
I'm not saying we can't beat. I'm not saying we can't beat them. I just wish
we got a naysayer over here.
I just wish you actually had a point to make about it, rather than saying, "Oh, we could beat them."
My point is we can beat them.
Your fucking point was Deshaun Watson gets a lot of fucking massages. Like that's
Am I wrong? Is that point
that's
wrong?
Where your football IQ.
Am I wrong?
That's where your football IQ is at.
I'm
all right?
correct. That is correct.
All
that
right.
is correct.
Fucking,
We're talking about the fucking Chargers first of all.
Deshaun Watson.
You car accident us up the side of the road. What are we like, James Dean over here?
Deshaun Watson could sexually abuse 4 women, roll out of bed, and then and still be twice the quarterback that Gardner Minshew is. I'm fucking sorry. Like it's every single fucking position up and down that team, outside of maybe Devontae Adams, the Browns are better at us. That
Amari Cooper, awkward. He was once our boy, and now he's not.
Are you arguing my point that Amari Cooper at this point in his career is better than Devontae Adams?
I just said what I said. I didn't say anything more.
That's another ridiculous fucking point that you're
making. Fucking
it's
adding
insane.
to it. I said what I said.
Insane.
I didn't say that. I didn't fucking say that.
It's fucking insane. We're gonna be 1-3.
You're an idiot.
To start the year.
No, you're an idiot. 3-1.
There's no fucking way,
dude. I will say 2.
I will say 2.
I don't even think our team's good. It's 3-1.
What the fuck did you just say?
Our team's not good, and we're still 3-1.
Yeah, I completely disagree. I think we're gonna be 2-2.
Well,
if I'm being charitable, 2-2 we beat the Chargers. 1-3 if we lose week 1. I mean that's where I'm at. And there'll be time in the soft part of the schedule to make up the slow start, but it's gonna be a slow start. I do not see us beating the Browns.
3-1 at least. Do we beat the Chargers though? That's what we came here to talk about. And you keep making it about the Browns.
If we beat the Chargers, it's 2-2. I know the math is really fucking hard.
You're like a time traveler. You're like, I'm traveling 3 weeks into the future. We're completely ignoring week 2 and 3. What about the Chargers?
Well, I already told you. I think we lose. But if I'm being charitable, and say we beat the Chargers, it's still 2-2 going into October. No fucking way we beat the Ravens or the Browns.
We're 1-0.
No
I think we do beat the Chargers. I think your prognosis
1-6 in our last 7 games against the Chargers.
To use a large word, I think your prognosis of our
at
week
home,
1 is garbage. I do think we are better than the Chargers right now, and given the transition with their new coaching staff, quote unquote, we are better than them. We're going to beat them. You know what? Fuck it. 17-28 Raiders.
Wow, 28 points. I don't think we scored 28 points all of last year.
There's a safety in there. There's a safety in there.
Other than against
do the math.
Other than against the Chargers, I don't think we scored more than 28 points all year last year. It was just that one crazy outlier against the Chargers.
Mathematician over here. I forgot.
I don't fucking know. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, like.
You know what? I'm gonna guess you're wrong. I'm gonna guess you're wrong on that one.
You know, the law of averages, one 60-point game. A bunch of 10-point games.
This guy's bringing up law of averages, another fucking huge math point. All right, sorry, we're not on your level of like knowing math theory and all this shit. All right, but
math theory.
All I know is that the Raiders 1-0. By this time next week, we will be 1-0, riding high. We're going to be talking about how many Super Bowl rings Gardner Minshew is going to have at the end of his career. It's going to be 3. It's going to be 3. Josh Jacobs, who is also what we'll be saying. Max Crosby. Sorry, it's hard to say on the straight face. Max Crosby, defensive player of the year, probably. Yeah, no, that's where I'm gonna stake my flag on the top of that hill. Be like, whoop, putting it in, digging that hole. Yeah.
So you're done talking for the day, I guess. You're just throwing stupid shit out there so that we could end the episode. I'm guessing.
Yeah, honestly, it's just whatever it takes to stop listening to you talk. That's really where my brain's at right now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well. To wrap it up, at least wrap up my coherent analysis. I think that this is a rebuilding year. I think that this is year one, even though it doesn't feel that way. It feels like, I guess, like year 1.5, because Antonio Pierce got a trial period that most interim coaches don't get. So I think that this is a building year. I think that we are looking for positives, and I think that the results of the game are not going to consistently go our way. That's where I'm at. I think that the tiebreaker in most situations is who the better quarterback is, and more often than not, we will have the worst quarterback this year, and that's kind of where I'm at. I think that we still need a quarterback. We're going to be looking for another one next offseason. I don't know how we'll get there. And maybe that's it. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm calling 6 wins because that's our best chance at getting better at this point. Is getting a better draft pick, because I'm not confident in Minshew or this offense's ability to actually win us games at all this year.
In all seriousness, I think we still suck. I think if Patrick Graham does well with the defense this year, he's going to get poached, and we have to revert back to 0. And Getsy is not the answer. Neither is O'Connell or Minshew, and you're still, grasping at straws, looking for answers. And Devontae probably gets traded halfway through the season because, who needs a good receiver on a losing team?
Yeah, and I really hope he does get traded. And it's not like it's not shade at Devontae or anything like that, but I would like to see him finish his career with having the opportunity to compete. And on top of that, we've said it many and many times over before. You can go for broke and try to win by any means necessary and still end up being mediocre. But eventually you have to actually commit yourself to getting better.
Sure.
And committing yourself to getting better at this point is trading Devontae Adams away for draft picks.
At a certain time, that Piper will come to take his His paycheck.
So that's why I'm hoping he does get moved before the deadline. The deadline's later this year.
Dude, I would have traded him 2 years ago. But yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, he should have gone with Carr.
I feel like you were just.
He really should.
No, I agree. But you were just going to make an interesting point. And I cut you off.
Oh, just the
I think
the trade deadline's week 10 this year. So there's a lot more opportunities to, especially for coaching staffs that are lying to themselves, trying to make themselves look better, to actually move pieces before the year's up.
Yeah, well, that's the key is being honest with yourself, because if you're looking to keep your job, you're not going to be honest. You're going to lie, not only to yourself but to your superiors. So
yeah, it's like I don't want to trade Devontae Adams away, and then really ruin the second half of my season,
and then really fuck
yeah.
But then it's going to just fuck us in the long term.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's where I'm at. I've been here before. Maybe this is the first time. I think this is the first week 1 that I'm going into things, and I'm not lying to myself anymore. I lied to myself.
This is big for you, dude, because you've been doing it your entire life.
My whole life.
Yeah.
As long as I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Convincing myself that fucking fucking Josh McDaniels and
Gary and Conley, the list goes on.
What's that guy? Dennis Allen. Fucking
Lane McKiffin.
Oh my god, yeah, Lane Kiffin.
They called him McKiffin.
But
Jamarcus Russell, yeah.
There's just too many times where I've lied to myself and completely ignored the context of the situation. Last year we were a 7-win team. We didn't get better. Our schedule's worse. And we're kind of with a new coach, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. This is an establishing year. This is a year where you set things up for the future. And in order to do that, I think you have to be honest with yourself, and come November, trade Devontae and start looking towards a quarterback of the future, because games like this week 1 against Justin Herbert, that a lot of people are optimistic about this, but this is a quarterback-driven league, and until we can even squint a little bit and say, okay, maybe our guy's almost as good as Justin Herbert, I think that you're drinking Kool-Aid. You're hoping for something. An outlier event in order to win this game, because Justin Herbert is going to win this game. In my opinion, he's a better quarterback. He's got a better arm. Doesn't matter who he's throwing to. They've got a good offense. They've got a better offensive line now. I don't know if it's great or good, but the quarterback situation it's capped our potential this year.
I agree with you. I mean, I think, as far as week 1, I think Minshew will keep us in the game, and I think we do actually have a really good puncher's chance to win the game.
I think it'll be close until the fourth quarter.
It'll be close, and it wouldn't surprise me if we win or lose. But big picture-wise, yeah, nothing means anything until you have the quarterback. So you're just kind of spinning your wheels until then. And, good quarterbacks can win good defenses, bad defenses. So. Oh,
and just to be fair to the reality of the situation, week 1 is very sloppy football now with no preseason.
Honestly, I think for the first 4 weeks,
yeah,
teams are still getting to know each other, and guys are learning how to play against or next to each other, and learning, playbooks and all that shit. So
crazy shit happens.
Yeah. It's more volatile.
We could win the game. It's not an unwinnable game. It's just that. Every week I'm picking the better quarterback. If you had to go and put $100 every week on whether we're gonna win or the other team's gonna win.
Well, it's incredible analysis.
And after you lose a couple of weeks, your wife starts telling you can't do this fucking anymore. I think that more often than not, you're just gonna say Justin Herbert, Chargers win.
I'm glad
Bryce Young.
I'm glad that the people
the Raiders
through
win.
An hour of us talking to hear, the better quarterback wins. Okay. Anyway, before we wrap this up, give me one hot take, a steaming hot take for the season.
Steaming hot take for the season. Jack Jones will lead the league in interceptions.
I'm going to say, maybe it's not steaming, but Crosby's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, and he'll finally get appreciated for who he is, which is just a handsome man, most importantly.
You thought about this, huh?
Oh, hours.
Yeah.
Hours. I put in this, yeah.
You know what? He's so handsome. He's going to win.
Oh, God.
He's going to win it all.
I like when he takes the helmet off.
You put so much thought into this. What do you think his end-of-year stats are going to be, Mr. Perkinoski?
17 and a half sacks, 15 games played. I don't know what his tackle for losses numbers were from last year, but around that same number. And I just think another year of him being great and Myles Garrett getting injured will do wonders for his chances. And his defensive line got better, so it'll help him improve.
I mean, I think 17 and a half would be a career high. I think he had 16
he had
last
like
year.
14, I think.
Or 14?
14 and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to improve it by like a sack and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. It depends. There's a lot more mouths looking to be fed on the line. But
I think he's going to do it in less games, though, too.
But,
I think he's just going to... I'm banking on his improvement and his... what do you call it? Like health or longevity?
Yeah, I mean, I could see the 16, 17 sacks being realistic. Yeah. And I could also say that I think that if his tackle numbers are close... I think he had over 90 tackles last year as a defensive player, which is fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, it's because he's playing on every snap, too.
And but no other defensive end is getting anywhere close to that.
No,
they're getting like 20 less tackles than he is.
It's something that's not appreciated. That's why he hasn't won it yet.
But if he replicates that, if he could get close to his same numbers as last year, I don't think that they're going to be able to deny him as Defensive Player of the Year 2 years in a row. As long as he stays healthy.
Yeah.
Because I think that if he was healthy, I think he would have won, or maybe it's the Raiders. We probably would have gotten shafted anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that if he's healthy, there was no question that he was the best defensive player in the league last year. And if he repeats that, if he gets 90 tackles, 16 sacks, and top 2 in tackles for loss again, I think that he is Defensive Player of the Year. But he's competing with his own teammate Jack Jones, who's going to lead the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
With a couple of them for a touchdown too, because my hot take is that Jack Jones is the best cornerback the Raiders have had since Charles Woodson.
I don't think that's a crazy take.
We've had some really bad ones.
No, but I think it's more about how bad the defense has been for the last 20 years than how good it's been. Relative.
I think he's a bona fide number one, though. I really do. Like, from the moment I saw him.
I mean, his limited time last year, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he reminds me of what's his name, the Landry guy, the rookie from the Cowboys last year.
Sure.
Where he, if you can put him in a situation where he doesn't think, he plays hard and fast and reacts, he's going to make plays every single fucking game. And I'm super excited about him. I really hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, no, it's all about health.
But anyway, here's the week 1. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully you're right. And
I guess we'll be able to tell how the game went by, how hungover, how drunk we are next week.
Sure. And maybe we're maybe we drop another 60 on the Chargers, and then and then next week we're talking about beating the Ravens. Talking about bus tickets to Baltimore.
Yeah. Don't fucking tempt me, dude. All right. Well, we love you, Raider Nation.
Yep.
Here's to the 7-9 Raiders this season.
Here's to a new era.
The Antonio AP era.
I've been tough on him.
So tough.
I've been tough on him, but I do like him as a person.
I'm sure we would get along great if we could, if I were to get a drink with him, I'm sure we would talk about...
Yeah, we would just belliggently scream Raiders for fucking 4 hours straight.
He looks like a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's a really good guy, and fun to hang out with. I'm skeptical of the body of work football-wise.
Sure.
But it's going to be exciting to see how it unfolds. This is the first year that I just have a completely open mind. My expectations are low, and I'm willing to be proven wrong. I really hope.
Well, you're proven wrong all the time, pretty much. But
I don't know. I think actually the fact that Derek Carr left,
here we go. Yeah,
left
still
here,
on the Derek Carr thing.
not winning a single fucking thing of significance, proves that I was right for like 6 or 7 years straight with every single fucking thing I said about this.
No one's listening anymore. Anyway, and Tony, if you're listening, I mean, if you want to like hang out for a drink sometime, I'm sure we can talk about, like just more things, football, like music. What are your favorite movies?
Anthony, your mom's calling. Stop listening to him.
Who's Anthony?
Anthony?
Anthony Pearson?
Yeah, that's what
his mom calls him.
Yeah, that's what his mom calls him. So.
All right.
Signing off.
Goodbye.